Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Sovereign Society podcast. I'm your host, Sabrina Riccio, and I'm excited to be having this conversation with you and sharing with you a lot of what's been coming up for me as the days are getting closer of Thrive closing out, and the days are getting closer of this final push and evolution of this space and my business. So, as you know, or you may not know, I have been committed to the deep work for 8 years and have been studying marketing and brand and business development for 13 years. I have my degree in marketing and sociology and have been a registered or certified life coach since 2013 before the boom happened. And the last 4 years of my business and this brand and this space, I've really focused a lot on sharing through storytelling, because I think one of the biggest things that we are able to connect, it's so ancestral and it goes back to basics, is through storytelling. And it's funny because I had my first 3-star review on Apple saying that I've made this space about myself and that, it's good, but I just make it about myself. It was literally it was called Meh, this review, and that they're tuning me out most of the time. Clearly you're not supposed to be in the space, and may you be blessed. But the biggest truth is that a lot of the work that I've done here has been through storytelling, through that connection. And I am a storyteller. That's what I do. I'm a speaker. And I think there's something really beautiful when we can share from experience. And so for the last 4 years, I've been really holding space and teaching about my journey, what's helped me navigate through, and how, I'm doing my best here to show up and to serve through compassion and through seeing you, because the spiritual journey is far from unicorns and rainbows. It can bring up everything. And if you're doing it right, like, you're going to the depth of your soul, so that you can really alchemize and transmute what's going on. And now, I've been doing this work for 4 years, and you may have remembered Sophie Nick. She was a previous guest here, and she is my Gemini twin. And we were talking about, she's like, I really feel, Sabrina, that for past lives, you've been doing the deeper work of being a shaman, and you were never really reciprocated for the services you did. And when I first started this work, it was about the passion of being of service. I was very much putting the needs of everyone else in front of me, to make sure, what can I do to really help revolutionize this space by sharing my story and my truth and what's helped me. And what's been amazing is that even though there's this one not so great review on iTunes, I have over 193 ratings just in the US and about 217 or so total from international, and all of them are very positive about how this space has been medicine and how you all appreciate the authenticity of my work and what I'm sharing. And that's something that's a very core value of the work that I'm doing, is to share authentically and genuinely and transparently. I believe that true leadership comes from sharing the highs and the lows, the beautiful and the ugly, right? We're all perfectly imperfect, and there's spaces that, we can always improve with. And there's also opportunities for us to share like what we're really good at. And storytelling for me is something I've always been passionate about. And, for the past 4 years on this podcast, I started this space back in 2016. Started showing face again on social media about 4 years ago, to where I am now. The biggest thing that I'm here to do is to again let you know that you're not alone. And so while I've dedicated the last 4 years of my life doing the deep trauma, inner child healing, this space is evolving. And I'm excited about this evolution because it's what I've been calling in. And the people that I'm excited to start serving are people who've been really devoted to their path and have done that deeper work. And how can I share my marketing and branding, medicine and wisdom to those who are ready to really unleash their medicine with the world? And I'm talking people who've been active on the medicine journey. I'm talking about people who've been devoted to really that deep, ugly cry kind of work. And, for so long, I've held space for people who may have taken advantage of. And that was a huge part of where I still had a lot of low self-worth, or even past life things of like, I just want to be of service. Like, don't worry about me. But then there got a point where if I wanted to accelerate my business, I was going to have to cultivate better boundaries. And this is something we weren't taught. Doesn't matter if it was your business or your personal life. Boundaries was something that was not taught to our generation. And so, especially the healers and the empaths for so long, they've been habitual people pleasers. And there's no more time for us to put the oxygen mask on second. We are going to be going through very, very intense and wild times from now until the election and even into 2020 as Jupiter's in Capricorn. And we just have to continue to ride the wave. And the more that we allow ourselves to do that deeper work, to have those difficult conversations with ourselves, with others, the more we give ourselves the opportunity to cultivate that deep space and really clear out and release everything that's not in alignment with the us or the self that we are ready to embody, to step into. This is the most important part of what it means to be an alchemist. This is what it's going to take for us to really pivot and accelerate this human experience of ours. Because if we want to get to this space that we're really calling in, we have to start implementing these new habits. And I know for me, I've been really working diligently on what are the habits of blessed up Sabrina, who's not living in Joshua Tree anymore, who has, client roster sold out to people who are ready to actually take their business to the next level, who are ready to invest in themselves. Sabrina, who has this really healthy work-life balance. And this is what I've been really activated within me over these past few weeks or so, has been closing out chapters of the things that feel complete. And what feels really complete right now here in this space has been devoting all of my time, my energy, my content to helping people who are still awakening, to helping people who maybe are just starting on their spiritual journey. I've been doing that for 4 years and it's been feeling stagnant. And there's plenty of other people that are rising up right now. Of course, there's content here on the podcast. There's content that I've shared on Instagram posts and YouTube videos that are supporting people who have just started their journey. And while it's all relevant and it's all powerful, I'm ready to help the people who want to be of service to those on the path that are more in their niche. And to me, my soul babe has evolved into someone who's, again, devoted to the deep healing work for quite some time. Maybe someone who works with plant medicines, someone who values their worth and are ready to invest in themselves because they know that that investment is what's going to continue to catapult them to the blessed up next level version of them. And, it's so wild with what's going on. I've been talking about 2020 crystal vision all year, and we're seeing a lot that's been deceitful. And I recently did a webinar, you can watch it on YouTube, called Deception in the Coaching Industry, where I talked about the truths about the false light. And I've talked about, that just because something is of a high price point, it doesn't mean that you're going to get out what you've invested in. Or if someone has so many 100,000 followers or whatever on Instagram, it doesn't mean that the content can be delivered. I definitely, in the past, made some investments that I thought the answer was going to be outside of me. And then when I enrolled in the program, I realized everything they were teaching I already knew. And so that was a very expensive lesson. And it just taught me the importance of integrity. And it taught me the importance of trusting my intuition and stop thinking that, again, answers are outside of me. And I really want you to understand that too. The sooner you allow yourself to do that deeper work and you really devote to getting out of your own way and rewriting those stories, pivoting, reframing what's happened to you as an opportunity of what's happened for you, the miracles are on their way. That shift in perception of recognizing that you're always divinely guided and you're always supported, and the things that you've been able to overcome, that's what's going to be helping people down the line. And that's how I've seen it. I've lived it through my own business, through my own experience. And I've really devoted to transparency here, especially because I want you to know that shit, if I can get through it, so can you. And I was at a rock bottom. And what's fascinating is that come the 30th, I'm reaching my 8-year anniversary of being struck by lightning with Bud. And last week we had really gnarly fires very, very close to my house, really not far away. Neighboring towns had evacuation warnings. Smoke filled the air. If you saw my Instagram stories, you saw how smoky and red the sky was. And to me, it was just a total rise of the phoenix moment where, I was finding myself really complacent with the work that I was doing, that I felt like the reciprocity wasn't there, that I was putting a lot of energy out to really serve and to help out people. And it felt like people were either not appreciating what I was putting out or they were taking advantage. And it just, to me, felt outdated, like complete, more than outdated, just felt complete. Like, you've done this, Sabrina, now it's time to take this next leap. And so to honor the energy I've put in, whether it be through my healing journey, whether it be through the medicine I've offered through my experiences, through this podcast, through my YouTube, through my Instagram, holding space, rooting for people, it was time, and I heard loud and clear, to shift the focus of this space again, to focus on business and branding. And that alchemy has been an evolution in itself. And of course, it's scary to take the leap and to get out of your comfort zone of what you've been doing. But when the door is opened, you got to walk through it. And this is me walking through it. So this is one of the last podcasts I'll probably be talking about, more so about like me and the healing journey or what have you. And I am going to be focusing a lot more on business development and I have a lot of really powerful, beautiful guests coming up talking about the spiritual journey and, what it takes to really cultivate a brand with integrity and a brand that's focused on solutions. And that's the big thing. I want to be focused on solutions. And I feel that so many of you that have listened for so long, you've gotten so much wisdom from me that now it's time for us to level up together. It's time for us to answer the call, to step up to the plate, and to hit that home run. Because, like I said, these next months are going to be very testy astrologically. They're going to be, there's a lot going out, especially in spaces like Facebook and social media. There's just a lot of projection and pain and uncertainty. And so it's times like these we really need to make sure who is our soul squad, who do we have as that support team? Are we giving ourselves permission to rest, to slow down, to listen to what we really need so that we can be on our A game, so that we can really show up and serve, so that we can really answer the call and live out our divine mission here. And for me, this divine mission, it's so interesting because I started getting the activation more so when the Save the Children and the child trafficking really came up. And that was the invitation for me to alchemize my business into this next level. And so, for instance, the big vision I have for my business is to do conscious family work. to get there are steps, right? It's journeys. Obviously, I have a family, but I don't have my own children, nor do I have a partner at this very moment. And so I know the pieces that when I visualize and see Sabrina, who has a podcast and a brand that's focused on conscious family work, that I'm doing this work with my beloved and raising a conscious family. Who is that Sabrina? That Sabrina has a successful business that runs its systems and productivity with ease and grace that allows me to be present for my children, for my husband, for my beloved. It's having support and hands, and there's pieces there that to actualize that desire, I have to start taking action. And so that's something I really want you to think about. Who is this you that you are ready to become, that you're ready to call in? What are their habits? What are your habits? What are your ways of being? Who are the people you're surrounding yourself with? How are you taking care of yourself when you first wake up? This is why I have the medicine morning routine that you can get on my website. Do some Kundalini yoga to really activate that energy and start implementing and taking initiative now. Give yourself the time to really feel into who is that version, who are you at that space when you've actualized this big vision that you want. And so for me to do and help conscious family work, to get there, I have to focus more of my energy on the conscious business work, because the way that I'm seeing this plan out here, for 4 years, I've been teaching you all about the depths of shadow work, inner child healing, ancestral healing. I'm teaching about, and I will continue to be teaching about this because this is something that is more advanced on the spiritual journey, but talking about timelines and talking about multidimensional you. These are the things that I'm evolving my spiritual lessons and teachings here, because there's a lot of the spirituality 101 that can be from other people, but it doesn't excite me anymore because it's actually me playing small. So I'm choosing to step up for all of you by starting to teach the more advanced spiritual teachings. This is just where I'm at, and the people who've been interacting with me, I can tell they're ready for this medicine, and this is what's really fueling me right now, because I want to help this community and this squad really accelerate to higher dimensional living, where these 3D and 4D traps are no longer holding us back. People who've been devoted to the deeper inner child work, people who've been devoted to the ancestral clearing, people who've been devoted to better boundaries, to be able to see what's real, what's manipulation, and to stand in their sovereign power with integrity. And I'm excited to be helping these advanced souls again with their business, because that's the next phase for me, is that business and branding. And I want to be able to help people, again, be smart on their systems. I want them to slay their systems. I want them to really cultivate a brand. For me, I've been building this brand through authenticity and vulnerability to cultivate and build trust with you all. I want you to trust me on this journey. I want you to trust yourself as you navigate through your journey by recognizing and honoring your energy. I'm going to continue to be very discerning and very specific on the guests that I bring into this space, people that I'm in alignment with. It doesn't matter how many followers they have, what's out there. It's all about how we can create this really beautiful, we have this beautiful chemistry together to create something really potent for you all. I want this space to be a resource for you all. And so while this is the last time I'm offering my soul activation program, Thrive, in a group setting, it will be available down the line without me teaching in a group setting, but you can go at your own pace. I'm really excited for this round of people who are ready to really show up and step up and align and embody to their truth. And I was guided in meditation to offer Thrive in this setting one last time, to know that I've done all that I can to provide information and content that is affordable for those to really invest in themselves, to honor their worthiness, to really transcend that scarcity mindset, and still making it affordable because of what's going on with COVID and quarantine and this pandemic. I want you to still feel worthy to invest in. I want you to invest in yourself so that when we get out of this quarantine, you're even more in alignment with who you are. You're even more embodied in your truth. You can show up and step up and answer the call and serve. And so I'm really excited for this last round of Thrive. And as of Sunday, the 16th, the doors will close. And then from there, I'm taking 3 weeks off from here. And I'm taking a 3-week social media sabbatical. And as you know, I'm a huge proponent of social media sabbaticals, especially while we're going through a pandemic like this. I think it's really important that we instill more rest and that we step away from a lot of the noise, because I think it's only going to get louder and louder and louder. It's like I said, especially until the election. And with this astro season we're navigating through, we signed up for this, we've got this, and we need to use our spiritual tools to help us get through it. For me, as I approach the 8-year anniversary of the lightning accident, I'm closing out a 7-year cycle these next few weeks. And so I'm going to be having completely new DNA, completely new cellular memory, because every 7-year cycles, what we do is our whole body regenerates. And so I've been purging out the last of what life was when I got struck and the shit that really came through from that. And so during this social media sabbatical, this round, I'm not only holding space for those who are investing in themselves and their soul's evolution with Thrive, but I'm also finishing writing my book, which is an ultimate storytelling of my journey and how I found alignment in the work that it took me to find that alignment. And I'm also coming up with a new sacred strategy as to how I'm going to best be able to serve those who are ready to really unleash their medicine with the world. All in all, I'm just ready to see more good people making good money and doing great things in the world. The big vision I have for us to cultivate conscious families and an eco environment and really be conscious and sustainable with how we live is to cultivate conscious capitalism. And that's what's really driving me right now. What's really inspiring me. It's made me very sick to my stomach to see people like Jeff Bezos make $14 billion in a day. And just, it's disgusting seeing how the rich got extremely, extremely richer. Or should I say the top 1/10 of 1% got extremely, extremely, extremely richer. And there's people that don't have jobs, are freaking out and don't know where they're going to get food for their families. Don't know if they're going to still have a roof over their head, that have lost their jobs. And so part of the alchemy of this brand and this business to really shift and find that answer is to cultivate this conscious capitalism and to share the resources to the best of my ability to really turn the ship around. And I'm excited to see where this journey takes us. And I just really, again, encourage you, focus on the you're ready to embody. What are their habits? What are your habits? What are your ways of being? What are your non-negotiables? Who are the people you surround yourself with? Really think about this. And if you need a journal about it, I really invite you to. And how can you start taking action now? How can you start taking initiative? It all starts with steps. I think the biggest challenge we've seen in the spiritual community is that we think it's just a quick fix. And this is also due to the times we live in. I mean, think about it. For instance, Amazon. You buy something on Amazon, boom, in 2 days it's at your doorstep. The internet, you search for something, boom, the answer is there for you right now. we're really finding these answers quick. But when it comes to your spiritual journey, you're a multidimensional being, and it takes time for that 3D reality that we've been living in, that we're accelerating from, which is why all this shit is going on, to catch up or to align. And it's also determined on the strength of your nervous system. And so my nervous system is closing a massive chapter, like I said, ending off year 7 of my lightning accident. And I'm going to sit with it. I'm going to feel into it. I'm going to devote my time to those, again, that are in Thrive, and really help them alchemize their reality. And I'm very optimistic for our future, and I hope you are too. Of course, there's a lot of the deep state, the dark governments and agendas being exposed, and it can be scary for those that haven't seen it or done the deeper work. But those who are really being observers of what's going on, we know that we're guided, we know that we're safe, we know that the light always wins. So allow your inner light, your truth, to reign supreme through this experience. And if something is really inviting you, and this is especially so for my entrepreneurs out there, if something's been pulling at your strings to shift your business, take this time during this quarantine to align to that blessed up version of you. Really revisit who you're here to serve. Really check into your offerings and see if they still feel alignment, if the content in there still feels aligned. Use this time to really get your systems and your ducks in a row so that we can continue to show up and serve. And I'm excited to see what this space evolves into. For those of you who have left really beautiful reviews, I appreciate it. My love language is words of affirmation, and just that acknowledgement of you seeing how much heart and soul I've put into this space, into my business and into my work over the past 4 years plus years. I appreciate you and I honor you. And I thank you for sticking around and for trusting me and believing in me and listening to the guidance and the wisdom in my stories. I just think storytelling is so beautiful, and it's a huge part of my brand. And I just pray, and my intention is that you learn from my experience, from my trials and errors, because I've definitely fucked up a lot in life, but I'm human. We're all human. We all make mistakes, and we all get big lessons from those mistakes. And so if I've, hurt you, disappoint you, I apologize. I'm doing my best here, being human and navigating through this wild spiritual war. But now I'm feeling really good. I got my soul squad with me. I got Yeshua guiding me. I've got so many tools, and I know I feel protected and safe. And it's taken me a long time to get to this space because it's been work. And I appreciate you. I love you. I'm always here rooting for you. Again, there's going to be 3 weeks off, and then the podcast is going to be coming in strong and hot. We've got some exciting guests coming up. I'm going to be offering more solo episodes, talking more about business and branding and mystical marketing. And yes, so this is essentially when one door closes, another one opens. And so this is the door closing to focus a lot on the deep trauma work. Mission complete. The wounds are done. It's time to answer the call to accelerate the space. And so I'm here, answering it, here for you. And again, we will get through this together, and we don't have to do this alone. The lone wolf days are over, and I'm supporting you to the best of my ability. And I love you, and we got this. Just know that what it is that we've been navigating through, there's a divine purpose for it all. It's just up to us to start putting the pieces together and seeing through our past careers, seeing through our past challenges and trials, the lessons and the medicine we've learned along the way, and how we can use that as alchemy to help someone else, to really transform someone else's life, to move the masses with our message and our medicine. This is what these times are about. I love you, and I'll be seeing you soon. Take care. Sat Nam.